Genesis all the way through Revelation, we find the story of grace. It's not just a New Testament story. The story of grace is everywhere because it is in God's character. He was always gracious. He was always filled with grace. He always longed to show his grace to people. That's why I believe that it is right for us to say, in our time of fear, that God's grace is always enough. In this case, in David's case, he started out the way we need to start out when we're coming to the Lord and when we're trying to overcome our failures. Today, the fear that we're talking about is the fear of failure. Some of us are afraid of failures that have already happened, and some of us are afraid to try because we're afraid we won't succeed. We're afraid we will fail if we try to do whatever. Maybe because of our past experience that we failed last time, so we're going to fail again. Or maybe it's just the fear of the unknown, like AJ said last Sunday. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of what we don't understand, what's out there in the dark. Can I take that step or not? And we're afraid of that. But when we start, we should always start from this perspective. Did any of you ever take art class and learn how to draw perspective?
Yeah. You
start with the horizon and a point, and everything goes to that point on the, everything goes there. The point on our horizon, I believe, needs to be the unchanging character of God. That's the thing that's everything goes there. Everything in our life goes to this point, the character of God that never ever changes. He always is who he always has been. That's why the story of grace doesn't just come in the New Testament. He's always been gracious. David knew that. David said when he starts, the very first thing that he says is, Lord, have mercy on me according to your steadfast love. What does steadfast mean? What?
Always steady.
Always steady, exactly. It's the rock. And what does he say is steadfast?
His love.
Your steadfast love. Man, when we mess up, that's the first thing we want to throw out of the mix, is the love of God. Because, God doesn't like me anymore because I messed up. He's not in love with me anymore because I made a mistake. I sinned. It's not true. How could you ever come back to him if his heart of love wasn't still toward you? Because the only way we come to him is because he draws us to himself. And the way he draws us to himself is through his love. So we know that the character of God, unchanging, steadfast love. He says, according to your steadfast love and according to your abundant mercy. Now, Al told us a few weeks ago the difference between mercy and grace. No, was that you? It wasn't you. It was not you. It was Jason. The difference between mercy and grace. Mercy is not getting what you deserve, and grace is getting what you don't deserve.
Yes.
And in simple terms, that's a good definition, a good way to look at it. Your abundant willingness, Lord, not to give me what I deserve, because, think about this. This is the King of God's people. This is the man that God chose and said, you have a heart after me. I'm going to make you the king of this nation. You represent me to the people because your heart is so much like mine. And then David sinned greatly. He had an affair with this neighbor's wife. He arranged for his neighbor to be killed, and he covered it all up. This was a big deal for the king of Israel. It's like happens every day in the United States, but it was a big deal for Israel at the time. It was something that David had reason to feel that against you, Lord, I've sinned greatly. Yet, in my great sin, your mercy is greater Your mercy is abundant. It's so much bigger than my sinfulness. So according to who you are, Lord, have mercy on me.